Tonight, the Super One swims with killer whales in the Super Dave Marine Stadium. Plus, special guest stars Doug and the Slugs perform Tomcat Prowl. Be watching Super Dave. Global's got it tonight at 10:30. Now stay tuned as the Devils take on the Leafs. Coming up next on Global's Molson Leaf Hockey.
The following is a presentation of Molstar Communications in association with the Global Television Network. For the Maple Leafs, it was a long and winding road trip which saw them take on the NHL's best. The Rolls-Royces of hockey proved to be sufficient roadblocks. The Leafs played well in St. Louis, but Brett Hull and company drove them crazy as the Blues won 3-2. In Pittsburgh, it was Route 66 as Mario Lemieux led the Pens to an 11-4 romp. Denny Savard played a key role in steering Montreal to a 3-3 tie with the Leafs on Saturday. And Monday in the Motor City, Steve Yzerman was up to his old tricks, scoring twice in a 5-4 wingding. But the news wasn't all bad. Jeff Reese notched his first NHL shutout in Buffalo and has looked solid in goal ever since. Peter Zezel and Daniel Marois had a pretty good road trip, and Coach Tom Watt has no reason to laugh or cry as the Leafs continue their playoff quest tonight against the New Jersey Devils. Molson Leaf Hockey on the Global Television Network. Brought to you by Molson Export. Nothing halfway about it. X says it all. The Devils looked to be the team of the future a few years ago when they advanced to the Final Four by beating Washington. They became the Red Devils soon thereafter, acquiring Soviet stars Fedosov and Kazatonov. But the Caps got revenge last year, eliminating Jersey in 6 games and raising more questions about the Devils' ability to win the big one. Coach John Cunniff is on the hot seat once again this year as Jersey struggles for a playoff spot. 2 players acquired from La Belle Province have had solid seasons in New Jersey, and as the standings indicate, the Devils are as close to second as they are to 5th place. The only way they're going to climb the ladder to respectability is if they can beat the Leafs tonight here at Maple Leaf Gardens. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Molson Leaf Hockey on the Global Television Network. I'm your host, Mark Hebscher. It's been a season to forget for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and especially so for one Gary Lehman, a 50-goal scorer last year, has but 8 this year, will not be in the lineup for the Maple Leafs, won't even be riding the pines like he did in Detroit the other night. And with Lehman out of the lineup, that causes all kinds of speculation as to when or where he might be traded. It could be before Tuesday's deadline, perhaps not. Now, as far as the Leafs are concerned, they're in a fight actually to just maintain what they have right now. They're 13 points back of Minnesota. It would take a miracle, everyone would agree, for them to make the playoffs, and they certainly need the 2 points tonight and 2 points from here on in every game they play. The starting goalie tonight, Jeff Reese, has played very well of late. Got his first shutout in Buffalo, played well the other night in relief of Peter Ring against Detroit and in the tie against Montreal. Now, as far as the New Jersey Devils are concerned, well, they're in a dogfight as well. They're in 4th place in the Patrick, just a couple points, or actually 5 points out of 2nd place. This team comes from all over the world. Team United Nations, we'll call them, for lack of a better phrase. They've got guys from all corners of this earth, 15 Canadians, 6 Americans. You see Czechs, Soviets, Swedes. 3 of the Canadians happen to come from Ontario that we're going to talk about. Johnny McLean out of Oshawa, 36 goals this year, looking for his 3rd straight 40-goal season. Captain Kirk Muller out of Kingston has missed just 4 games in 7 years for the New Jersey Devils. What an Iron Man he is. And the reigning heavyweight champion of the National Hockey League out of Lively, Ontario, near Sudbury, Troy Crowder. Will keep an eye on him as well. Let's find out from my broadcast partners their thoughts on tonight's hockey game. Here are Joe Bowen and Harry Neal.
Thank you, Mark. Well, a year ago, Frank Mahovlich's record as a left winger with the Maple Leafs for single-season proficiency was bettered by Vincent Domfus. And Harry Neal this year, Vincent really has been maybe the only Leaf that's lived up to advanced billing.
Well, he hasn't quite been able to put the numbers on the board he did last year, but he has been by far their most consistent and most diligent offensive player. He leads the Leafs in all offensive categories. He hasn't quite been able to challenge Mahavelic's record this year, but I think Vincent Damphousse has been the best Leaf player forward by quite a margin this year.
Chris Terreri has played very well for the New Jersey Devils in goal. They're in a dogfight to get into the playoffs, but he's carried the workload for the Devils this year.
Well, he's third in the league in goals against average and surprisingly fifth in save percentage. And he is the #1 goalie for the New Jersey Devils. But unfortunately, he's got the flu and won't play tonight, Joe.
And Sean Burke, who will play tonight, is maybe a catch for before the trade deadline or maybe free agency.
Well, you know, 2 years ago, Sean Burke was going to be the next Ken Dryden, which is a supreme compliment if everyone was paid to him. And the Jersey Devils drafted a goalie in the first round and the third round last year that they really like, and they may be able to afford to move Sean Burke. And I think he'd be a good gamble for some team and maybe even look good in a blue and white uniform.
So it's the Devils and the Maple Leafs, and this is Molson Leaf Hockey on the Global Television Network.
Yo, Mike, do you know how you defy gravity? Do you know?
Yes, Morris. I overcome the acceleration of gravity by the application of my muscle power in the vertical plane, thus producing low-altitude Earth orbit.
Man, Money, that's some serious smarts. Where you learn that?
In school, Morris.
Mr. Jordan, do you have something you'd like to share with the rest of the class?
Yeah, don't be stupid. Stay in school.
Do what Michael Jordan says.
Stay in school!
Be cool. It's strange out there.
Well, you can tell you need a change. Back to something simpler, where they don't care about your name. Going home again. Going home. Well, there's nothing halfway about it. Excessive love.
How's she doing? Sleeping, I think. First you got sick, then your brother. What a week. What can you do? Plenty of rest, liquids, children's Tylenol to bring down the fever. Whoever invented children's Tylenol must have been a parent. Children's Tylenol. It's fast and I can trust it. And when I give it to the kids, we both feel better.
Welcome back to Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. Almost ready to go between the Devils and the Maple Leafs, just seconds away. These two teams have only met once before. That was back on December 23rd. Leafs had a very successful road trip in Washington, in New York. Lost this game to New Jersey as Claude Lemieux, who is not playing tonight, scores here on Peter Ing. Final was 4-2 in favor of the Devils. Other games tonight in the NHL, and Jim Taddy at Sportsline Control will be updating us. Montreal at Detroit. Washington takes on the Rangers in a key Patrick Division matchup. They all are from here on in. And two other games later, Edmonton at Calgary, the uncivil war at Alberta, and Pittsburgh against the Vancouver Canucks at the Pacific Coliseum, and the Canucks battling for the fourth and final playoff spot in the Smythe Division, of course, battling with the Winnipeg Jets. Now, as Joe and Harry mentioned a little bit earlier, Chris Terreri, who is the top goalie for the New Jersey Devils, came down with the flu today. Sean Burke will get the starting goal. He only found out this morning, and he, of course, a Toronto native, has lots of friends and family here at the game tonight. Let's go upstairs now, and singing the Canadian national anthem, O Canada, is Michael Burgess.
Michael Burgess doesn't look like Kate Smith, but the Maple Leafs hope that he at least has that kind of luck. He's 1-0 while singing the national anthem. And, of course, he does it impeccably again here tonight. The referee tonight for the Devils and the Maple Leafs is Don Koharski, hiding behind that taller gentleman, Ray Scapanello. And Bob Hodges will work the lines for Coho, a pretty veteran officiating crew here tonight. And there's Sean Burke, 23-year-old Toronto product. After starting 49 games a year ago, has started just 25, including this one here tonight. At the other end of the rink, Jeff Reese gets the call after relieving Peter Ing in the second period last night, or in the last game in Detroit. He's 1-1-1 in his last 3 starts and has allowed just 6 goals over that time period. So the Leafs, who are in desperate situation here, hoping that Minnesota on their road trip are going to maybe fall apart, but they show no signs of that, have to come up with a big win here to get things rolling in the right direction. Here's Marois playing it into the corner. It goes to Zezel. His centering attempt didn't work, and it bounds out at center ice. Ellett being chased by Conacher. Now Conacher had to let it go as a delayed offside in effect, and Ellett is turning now for Toronto. Ellett coming to center. Ellett flips the puck in and around the board. Sean Burke leaving it there. Eric Weinrich tries to move it ahead. Chased by Zezel. Back of the goal it goes. Bruce Driver plays it ahead at center, and here's Troy Crowder skating it up. Crowder shoots it in on goal. Jeff Reese makes the save, and the Leafs turn up ice with Rob Ramage. Ramage banking it on the boards. Grabbed by Krushelnyski and over the line to Brian Bradley. A shot. That is stopped by Burke, and he smothers the rolling puck. And a face-off will come in the New Jersey zone.
Well, here are the players not playing tonight. You can see that the New Jersey Devils are racked with injury, and Chris Terreri is hurt with the flu tonight. And he's really been a terrific find for the Devils this year. And for the Toronto Maple Leafs, they also have their share of injuries, plus the Gary Leeman situation that's been talked about at length in Toronto in the past week.
And the rumor mill continues to fluctuate around Gary Leeman. The New Jersey room was the buzz that maybe he was going to be traded for Sean Burke. And then the other rumor that has been very strong has been the Hartford Whalers and Kevin Dineen, although I would not imagine that would come about until after Sunday's game in Hartford between the two teams, if at all.
Well, Leeman needs 5 games to play 400 in this league, and the odds are he won't make it with the league.
Shot around the boards by Todd Gill and knocked out at center ice. Has a tone-off. Passes it ahead. Morris on the right wing side and over the line. McLean a drive. And Reese went down to stop that with the right pad. Deafened the rebound and is able to cover up.
Well, Jeff Reese has played 3 games against New Jersey and has been in on 2 decisions. He's 1-on-1 with a 4.35 goals against average, and he makes the first stop of the game on a hard shot from the top of the circle from John McLean. Tom Watt was telling me that although things don't look very favorable for making the playoffs until they're mathematically out, he's not counting them out, and he thinks his team is going to give it a real shot right to the end, regardless of when they get to the playoffs or close or not. We will see.
Devils win the draw. Danico with a shot. Pad save. There's a rebound knocked away by Hannon. It's slapped around on the far boards for McGuire. Chased and now played by McGuire off of Dave Reed. Bumping on the boards. Ziger as it's played ahead off of Muller into the Leaf zone and now shot out at center ice. Albaline fires it right back in again. Dino Seeger, number 33. Czechoslovakian product. Puck in the center ice zone, grabbed by Richardson. Richardson stumbles and then shoots it into the New Jersey end. Danico back of the net. On the boards for Seeger. Seeger a pass on the right wing side for Medill. Medill's long shot is off of Jeff Reese's blocking arm. And Dave Hannon now starts up ice for Toronto. He is run into and knocked down. Muller plays it back into his own zone. Driver to Danico. Danico to center, and off the glass he sends it into the Leaf zone. New Jersey with 5 shots. Here comes a chance for a 6th and a big save made by Jeff Reese as he took that off of the chest. Reese has either got an equipment problem or something. He is going to cover up on the puck and hold on. His strap came undone on his pad, on his skate, and that's what he stepped on and stumbled as he was trying to make that save. From Maple Leaf Gardens, this is Molson Leaf Hockey on the Global Television Network.
For all the driving hazards winter may throw your way, we introduce the new full-time four-wheel drive Subaru Legacy. Because you can't control the conditions you drive in, we make sure you can control the car. The Subaru Legacy is renowned for its legendary full-time four-wheel drive. So when the weather goes to the dogs, your Subaru comes to the rescue.
Well, the Devils quickly have 6 shots. They've had 2 real good ones. We saw one by McLean, and here's another one right here by 23 Driver, the point man, who walks in unopposed to the hash mark on the inside of the circle. And Jeff Reese makes a good save, and then you can see him trip as he steps on the strap that was undone on his pad.
Peter Stastny with Brown and Maley up front for the Devils. Weinrich and Driver out there on the blue line. Ellis lays the puck back at his own goal. Alexander Godinyak ran into some traffic, tries the other side for Ellett. Semeta along with Ferguson. Foligno now for Tom Watt as Ellett shoots the puck in. Off of the boards, Driver got it away from Foligno, plays it to the near boards. Eric Weinrich now, a pass up the middle off of Stastny. That goes the length of the ice. Penalty call here against the New Jersey Devils, who won a big game the other day against the Washington Capitals to open up this 5-point lead for John Cuniff's hockey club in 4th spot in the Patrick.
Well, John Cuniff, who's coaching in his 131st game as the New Jersey Devil coach, and they've had 14 of them as their team has traveled from Kansas City to Colorado to New Jersey. And Doug Carpenter is leading the coaching games record. And there's Lou Lamoriello, the guy in the middle, who's the general manager of this team. And both he and Cuniff have been taking all kinds of heat lately in New York for the fact that they were once 3 points out of first place, and now they're a lot further than that.
Here's Foligno back to the blue line. Godinyak sidesteps one, took the shot, and Burke made a good save there. Fergus kicking the puck free. Fetisov unable to move it up the boards. Kazatonov plays it around to an open wing. Godinyak moves in. Here's Fetisov with it again, and the pass comes ahead, and out at center is Laurie Boschman. Boschman on the right wing boards for Crowder. Played away from him by Reese. Doug free now. Here's Conacher trying to make a play in front, but it went behind the goal, and Ellett turned. Dave Ellett getting away from Crowder. Ellett to center. Ellett with a long shot wide of the goal. Blocked by McGuire. Crowder runs into him. Now a pass in front. Zezel plays it back to the blue line, but it's intercepted. Out at center ice now is Laurie Boschman. Boschman being chased by Ellett. Ellett had a good angle on him, taking the puck back of the goal. McGuire banks it on the boards to center. Here's Miroir. Miroir almost got around Fetisov. Burke plays it up on the boards for Crowder, who knocks it out into neutral ice. Gill to Zezel. Peter Zezel for Domfus. That didn't work. Flipped by the Devils' Kazatonov over the boards and into the penalty box area. 15.5 minutes to go in the first period. No score.
Energy and you. Hints on using energy more wisely. Enjoy a hot shower? You'll use 50% less water with a new energy-efficient shower head, and you'll save money. A suggestion from the Ontario Ministry of Energy.
Duracell, the one that lasts.
You can't tell me that Troy Crowder, 25, isn't thinking about the Devils' next game in Detroit Friday night. He's been dipping his hands in cement every day for the past 3 weeks to get ready for the rematch with Big Bob Probert.
Not be a bad idea to get the pickle brine out and do a little on his cheekbones too, because I'm sure that Bob Probert's been thinking about it as well. He had a couple of memorable bouts last time they met.
So they brought in Artie Ardella to count for the knockdowns at the bell.
Here's Domfus in over the line, makes the Baker shot, and that was stopped by Burke. Zazzle back of the goal. Burke didn't look comfortable stopping that at all. Round on the boards near side. Gill left it there. Marois bumped into by Danico. Domfus digs it free, but it's knocked to center ice. Here's John Morris with it now. Left wing feed. Shanahan to Morris. McLean's in front of the net, and it's batted away from him. Good recovery by Domfus. Zazzle to center. A pass from Marois off of his stick. Burke playing it ahead. Shanahan's pass knocked down by Domfus to Brian Bradley. Bradley stopped. Bradley being chased by Danico. Now double team. Tried to get the puck free. He did. Domfus in front, and it went by Bradley. Here's McLean at center, and the long shot is going off of his stick and into the crowd and out of play.
Well, John McLean, who we saw shoot that puck out of the rink, has been one of the Devils' more consistent performers. 2 consecutive years of 40 goals or more. No Devil has ever done that. You can see he leads the team in goals scored in his career. 11 of his 41 goals last year were game-winning goals. He led the team in plus-minus last year as well. So John McLean, who is a great star with the Oshawa General Junior team, has also shown that he's a good big player in this league as well.
Shane Corson has that goal for the Montreal Canadiens. They beat Detroit 1-0. We talked about that rematch in Detroit. Great tickets. The entrepreneurs are selling them for increased prices outside the rink, about a couple $100. Here's Medill.
Somebody told
Muller.
And Crowder's eating his game meal at Gold's Gym there, and I don't know whether that's got anything to do with it.
Medill and Richardson shoving a little bit in the corner. Nothing breaks out, and there'll be a face-off in the Toronto zone. No score first period, the Leafs and the Devils.
Play Score and Win at A&P in Dominion. You can win one of 26 trips for 4 to Orlando, Florida, home of Walt Disney World Resort. All trips provided by Canadian Holidays, a world of vacations. Or Score and Win a Sharp electronic organizer, Samsonite luggage, table charm dinnerware, a Fuji 35mm camera, a TurboGrafx 16 video game system, or an Emerson 21-inch TV VCR. This week's feature, added touch cake mixes. Doesn't your family deserve that added touch? And Skippy peanut butter in creamy and super chunks.
That's Peter Stastny scoring a year ago, his 400th goal as a National Hockey League player, and he, Gretzky, and Lemieux are the only players to score over 100 points 6 years in a row in the National Hockey League. He slowed up this year, and those days of 100-point seasons are over for Mr. Stastny, but he's been a great player.
And he was part of the biggest trade deadline deal last year. Weinrich shot is gloved by Reese, and he's going to hold for a face-off. And there's a lot of speculation that there's going to be a lot of movement come March the 5th because so many teams have a shot at maybe winning the ultimate prize, the Stanley Cup.
Well, John Conniff is playing Kurt Muller at center ice tonight. He's only had 1 goal in his last 15 games and is mired in the worst slump of his very fine career. And the reason for that switch to center ice from the wing, in the opinion of John Conniff, the coach, is that it will allow Muller to use the whole rink to try and regain some of the confidence that he's obviously lost. And sometimes a switch in position causes a reconcentration by the player, and he finds his way out of the slump. If the Devils are going anywhere, they need Muller playing the way he usually does.
Dave Hannon leaning into the face-off circle against Peter Stastny. Hannon wins the draw. Ellett back of the goal for Godinyak. Godinyak after it. Tried to chip it along the boards, but failed. Stastny and Ellett now after it, and it played around the boards and down the ice by the Leaf defenseman. Kazatonov being chased by Reed. Round on the boards, knocked down. Here's a chance for Reed from McGuire, and as he tried to feed it in front, it's picked off. Back on the boards for Brown. Knocked away from him by Ellett. Kazatonov now for New Jersey. And across the line. A drop pass to Brown. His pass is shot, and it's picked away by Reese. I don't think Jeff saw that until it almost was on him. Godinyak. Rink wide for Reed. Reed in over the line. Makes that one fake. Tries to flip it in front hand and scores! Dave Hannon on a very nice feed by Dave Reed. And it's 1-0 Toronto.
A very patient play by Reed, who had the nerve and the time going around the outside of Kasatonov
to stall till Hannon could come through the middle. Look at 4 Devils chasing him with their back turned to Hannon, who walks in from the blue line and puts it past Sean Burke.
Assist number 14.
A lovely backhand pass. It comes down right on Hannon's stick. One time into the goal.
So Dave Hannon has his 8th goal of the year. 7:08 is the time, and our winner on our A&P Dominion score and win is Gerald Hengel of Dunnville. Wins a Samsonite oyster luggage set after buying some Libby's beans for his groceries. Slapped onto the boards by Crowder. Ramage around on the wing for Foligno. Foligno goes to Fergus with Thornton. Thornton on the left wing trying to go to the net. Goes back to the goal, unable to center it in front. Foligno is there. Foligno tries to tip it free and does. He rolls it to the side of the goal. Eric Weinrich takes it to safety back to the net for New Jersey. Leafs have it again. Thornton at the point of shot. That was stopped. Here's Fergus having lost his stick, kicking it free for Foligno. Foligno back into the corner. Fergus has regained his stick, but it's sent right back into a crowd. Tommy Albaline in there with Foligno. Thornton against Conacher. Albaline and Foligno continue to battle. The puck still free and finally blown dead by referee Don Koharski. And some good forechecking done by this unit of Fergus, Foligno, and Thornton.
Well, Fergus, playing his 4th game since returning after abdominal surgery, finds himself in a tough spot. I mean, there's no way you can get feeling the way you want to feel without playing games. Tom Watt's trying to make the playoffs and wonders whether he can afford to give Fergus the time he obviously needs to get himself in the groove. But if he could get this guy playing the way he can, he would be an asset coming down the stretch here.
Zezel, Domfus, and Marois back out there for Toronto. This line has played better and better as they've become acquainted with one another. There's a good hard shot by Petit, kicked away by Burke. Another screen shot in front. And it's grabbed off by Weinrich, who sends it around on the left wing side for Brendan Shanahan. Mimical product gets it out at center. John Morris couldn't carry on. Here's John McLean to drive her to Weinrich. Weinrich will shoot it in wide of the Toronto net. McLean having problems with equilibrium, then is pasted on the boards by Petit. Zezel attempting to control the puck, had it come loose. Richardson tips it back, and here's Petit. Sent it on the boards, but not out. Weinrich had to retrieve it on his backhand and shovels it in. Petit's got his stick halfway up Brendan Shanahan's shirt. A centering pass blocked by Reese. He kicks it into the corner. McLean and Marois battle. Marois got him draped down on the ice. Puck still free, sent around to the near board. Vincent Domfus wants to get it out, and he lifts it to center ice. Richardson providing the chase, but Driver has the puck in control, and up it comes to McLean. Shanahan with him. Long shot off the arm of Reese. Foligno back onto the ice. With Bradley, as Domfus hits it ahead. Pass in for Foligno. Shooting right on Burke to save the rebound. And Bradley with that puck in midair couldn't do much with it as he tried to bat it in behind Sean Burke. After a slow start in which the Devils had 6 of the first 7 shots, the Leafs have picked it up and taken the lead 1-0, and now the shots on goal 9-7 in favor of New Jersey. Kazatonov got it ahead. Now here's Jeff Medill in over the line. He was knocked down. Elliott being chased by Muller. The puck is tipped by Krushelnyski to center. McGuire chased after it, but it is cleared by Fedosov to center. Muller tied up by Elliott. Now Krushelnyski couldn't move it up ice. Kazatonov rink wide for his defense partner Fedosov, but that didn't work. Leafs have it again. Krushelnyski in over the line. Krushelnyski trying to get by, and his one-hand shot was blocked by Burke. Leafs pinching in, and that allows Medill to skate to center, but his pass is gobbled up by Kodyniuk and wristed back. That wasn't offside, was it? 5 lines. 9:31 left to go in the period. You're watching Molson Leaf Hockey on the Global Television Network.
Right now, Mazda has some special values under wrap.
Ooh.
What's so special? New GST reduced prices, free automatic transmission.
Free automatic?
Or equivalent value credit of up to $900 on many models. Plus loaded, specially priced special editions like 323,
Protégé, all
626,
right.
trucks, and MX6.
Great spoiler.
Thank you. And wait till you see our limited edition MPV and Miata.
In British Racing Green.
See your Mazda dealer soon. Because these special values won't last long.
Well, here's a look at the great chance by Foligno as he cuts in outside driver. Kasatonov and driver both went to the center. And here's a hit on John McLean by Petit with Marois being involved earlier in the Toronto end. And Toronto's defense has been much more aggressive in the last 15 or 20 games than they were early in the season.
Canico shoots the puck in. Todd Gill in back of the net. Pass ahead for Hannon. That didn't work. Stastny inside now. Here's a check. Maley going to the net. Oh, and another shot at the goal post as Reese was flattened in front of the net with Maley and Gill going right over top.
Well, Gill's going to get a penalty as he hog-tied Maley and drove him right over top of Reese into the goal post. It may have helped save a goal, and
then it almost cost the goal because with the goaltender down, it hit the goal post.
Well, Hannon loses the puck coming out of his own zone. Here's the 2-on-1. You can see Gill chasing Maley. Maley gets one chance, and then he's airborne. And then Stastny has the whole net to shoot at. You can see Koharski's got his hand up with the penalty on Gill. And the New Jersey Devils miss a good opportunity to tie the game up. They're 8th in the league on the power play, but they're first with an impressive 22.8% on the road. There's Dave Maley, who missed the last good chance and took a good shot from Todd Gill. Here's
Maley and Petit. Maley breaking his stick. Koharski, I think, has got both of them heading towards the penalty box. That happened just 3 seconds into the power play.
Maley's still upset at being knocked into the net. Maley is one of 3 New Jersey Devil players who has been on a Stanley Cup winner. Here's the scuffle right off the face-off there. Maley, Claude Lemieux, and Joe, who is the other one that has sipped out of the Stanley Cup that plays for the Devils? 2001? 2003?
Well, it's not Fetisov. Pat Conacher?
Pat Conacher, right on. With the Edmonton Oilers, a short stay there, but long enough to enjoy the fruits of the Stanley Cup victory. You're on the ball tonight, Joe.
Well, yeah, got a lot of information stored in the back here. Useless, but it's stored there. 1-0 in favor of the Leafs. First power play of the game for either team. Brendan Shanahan centers it in front, and McLean failed to tip that as he was right on the doorstep. Zezel has it against the boards in his feet, tipped off of a stick, and that jumps up on the boards and rolls into the Maple Leaf bench. The Leafs will get a face-off back in their own zone as a result with 1:42 left to go in the power play.
Well, one area with the Toronto Maple Leafs that has improved in the last 40 games has been their penalty killing at home. They're up almost to 82%. The league average is 80.6%, and they're 12th at killing penalties here at Maple Leaf Gardens.
Tom is upset, I think, at where this face-off is being held. I think he felt that it went off with a New Jersey player, and subsequently the Leafs should have gained the zone, but to no avail. Zezel against Stastny. Zezel wins it cleanly, and Dave Ellett has lifted it all the way down the ice. John Burke had to watch that low line drive. Now here's Albeline scampering back behind his own goal. The 26-year-old defenseman starts out with a pass to Shanahan. Shanahan back to Albeline and flipped into the Toronto zone, and Ellett hammers it right back down the ice. 16 left in the power play. Stastny circles, and Albeline will look to him as he sends it up on the wing. And now Stastny from his side of center. If Ellett gets there, and he does, an icing call against New Jersey, who start very slowly with the man advantage.
Well, not a bright play by usually a bright player, Peter Stastny. who thought his winger could get to the puck first so it wouldn't be icing. But he didn't think correctly on that. He did not play, Joe, Monday night against Washington, which has to be the first time in a long time that he's been benched. He was very upset about it. There's the play I'm talking about. Maybe he thought the winger could get, Morris could get to the puck before Ellett, but he was wrong in thinking that. And I know Cuniff was interested to see what his reaction would be to being benched Monday, so you watch him carefully and tell me.
It is cleared down into the Leaf zone. Reese, with traffic starting to arrive, decides to hold on for a face-off in the Toronto zone. It'll be to his left. 54 seconds left to go on the penalty.
Well, Vincent Domfus, who we mentioned in the opening, is the most productive and I think the most consistent forward the Leafs have had. He's got a 4-game assist streak going at the moment. During those 4 games, he's got 1 goal and 6 assists for 7 points. 12 of his 18 goals have been scored here at Maple Leaf Gardens, and he leads the Leafs in scoring, and he's the lowest team-leading scorer in the National League. He has the fewest points for a guy who's leading his team.
55 points, 18 goals, 37 assists for Domfus, who was above the 90-point mark last year with the Maple Leafs. On the boards, it is Zezel trying to scoop it out at center, knocked back to the line, and offside is the call, and it'll be brought back.
Well, this is a big game for the Jersey Devils. First of all, they want to beat the Leafs, so they got a better chance of the Leafs getting 21st and losing the first-round pick. There, the out-of-town scores. Montreal and Detroit and Washington, 2 Rangers, 1 Berglund and Hatcher for Washington, and Gardner gets his 36 on the power play for the New York Rangers, and as Joe said, Corson has scored for Montreal.
Speaking of that first pick, Eric Lindros turns 18 tomorrow. Which one of these teams do you think is send his birthday card? Pass in the left wing side, Muller. Gets it ahead to Medill. Medill weaving into the left wing boards, back to the point. Weinrich did keep it in, but lost control of the puck, and Dave Hannon's pass for Dave Reed is just out of reach. Burke leaves it inside of the goal. Driver. Way too far from Medill. That has to go on goal, however, and icing is waved off. Penalty has 3 seconds left in it as Zezel gets it out down into the New Jersey zone, and the penalty expires to Todd Gill. 7 minutes and 4 seconds left to play in the period, and the Leafs really do not give up anything that you would think of a scoring chance during that penalty.
A pitiful example of a power play, and the Jersey Devils, except for the first 3 or 4 minutes, have really been by far the second-best team out there tonight.
Pass for Conacher didn't work. Offside because it didn't touch it as it arrives and is received by Laurie Boschman. 6:43, and that young fella has his Leafs up 1-0.
There's always something new for the seafood lover in you.
Introducing Red Lobster's new menu with 22 new creations, including 9 dinner entrees for $9.99 or less. Or try our lunch shrimp combo, golden fried and broiled shrimp with salad and garlic bread, just $4.99 for a limited time.
There's always something new for the seafood lover in you. Red Lobster.
Well, here's the Leafs routine for the rest of the season. The next 8 against non-division opponents, and 7 of the last 8 against Norris division opponents. And if they won every one of those 16 games, they would end up with 73 points, which is 7 fewer than they had last year. So this year has really been a disaster for them.
And the Minnesota North Stars, after a 2-2 tie last night with Philadelphia that finished off a 3-game homestand in which they were 2-2-1, or at least 2-0-1, will go out west. And the Leafs have got to hope for a pretty sizable losing streak here by the North Stars if they're going to get back into this, with just 15 games left after tonight.
Well, Laurie Boschman, the veteran center, 12 years in the National League, acquired from the Winnipeg Jets for Bob Brook, one of the best face-off men in the National League, and has been good at that his whole career, and can win him to the forehand as well as anybody.
He did just there. Fedosov's shot stopped by Reese. Zazzle now trying to move up ice and dodge. Donfus to the blue line and over. Dropped the puck back, and it's whacked out at center ice as Petit took a pretty good two-hander. Then Marois takes a run at Crowder over, or at least, no, that would be crazy. Conacher. It's Conacher and Marois after that two-handed slash on Petit.
A pretty good two-hander. I mean, that stick blew up when Conacher hit Petit with it, and Marois ran 50 feet to give Conacher a shot. So Marois is going to get one, but I don't think that Koharski had his hand up to give Conacher one.
No, I didn't see it up anyway. We'll wait and see whether this is the only penalty, but it could be another New Jersey power play when we return.
Now, where would I like to be? No. Nah. Fishing? Ouch. To Hollywood. This is it. Guys, how you doing? Nice shorts. You know what we need here? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, she's the one. Still one thing missing. Yes.
The cold, refreshing taste of genuine Canadian Light. You can't imagine a better beer.
Marois gets 2 minutes for roughing, coming to the aid of Michel Petit, who took an awful slash from Pat Conacher. And have a look at it right there, a two-hander right across the right hand of Michel Petit. And when Marois saw this and saw Petit shake his hand, he came running across the ice to give Conacher a shot. And here we'll have a look at Marois coming after Conacher. Conacher sees him coming and gets braced for the collision. Koharski couldn't be closer to the call than that if he tried. So the Devils get a power play here. They're down 1-0 with 6:15 to go in the first period.
The only call is to Marois. Shanahan sliding it back for Tommy Albaline. Albaline goes back at the goal. 6 minutes left to play in the first period. 1-0 leads. Shanahan for McLean. It was behind him. Petit with a chance to ice it. Run at the Leaf bench and missed. And Michel Petit will have a face-off back in his own zone.
Well, he has a little 3-game assist streak going, 4 assists in his last 3 games. And he has been one of the more abrasive Leaf defensemen of late and has really played some pretty good hockey since settling in here as a Toronto Maple Leaf.
The face-off will be to the right of Jeffries. I think Tom Watt likes his defense. And yeah. I think that a year under their belt and everything else, it's going to be fine, but it's really been a situation where they've had 3 teams here over the years. Shanahan shot, good save by Reese. Rebound with Reese down, and Stastny couldn't get it to the net. Stastny into the corner. Muller back to the point to Shanahan. Over it goes to Albaline. McLean hit by Petit. Albaline able to keep it in. Now Petit out of position. It goes to Shanahan, who scores.
Now Michel Petit started the problems for the Leafs by getting away out within 15 feet of the blue line, chasing a Jersey player. And before he could get back, and his other 2 teammates, I mean, when you're playing defense killing a penalty, you can't get there. And look at the problem it caused. It caused us 4-on-3.
New Jersey goal scored by
and Shanahan grabs the pass and puts it in. Now the winger that normally might have taken Shanahan was back covering up for Petit. That's Dave Hannon. If Petit hadn't gone out that far, then the Leafs wouldn't have got into a situation where players are trying to cover up for each other. Now Watt's upset about something, and he's not changing his line. He wants 5 minutes for the slash, so he held his team on the ice. And when you don't put your team out, the referee can give you a minute to get a starting lineup out there, or you're going to get another penalty.
So the Devils tie the score at 1s on a power play by Brendan Shanahan. His 22nd goal of the year, his 5th on the power play. Maley through the defense. Big save by Reese as he dragged that left pad. Maley stripping through that Leaf defense as Krushelnyski gets it into the zone. Foligno couldn't get to it as he almost jumped on top of Maley. Now Maley. Pass on the right wing side for Brown. Brown in over the line with the head fake. Looks in front of the goal. Molson in front. And it is Krushelnyski arriving on the scene and flipping the puck out and down the ice. Bradley after it. Burke has to play it. And Weinrich takes it into the corner. Bradley couldn't find it in the legs. And Sean Morris now is outlet to Brown. Brown shooting it in. Reese under the goal to chop it around on the boards. Morris bumped into by Gill. Gill gets it free for Bradley, but stolen by Morris. Back to the point. Kazatonov a shot, and that was stopped by Reese through a maze. Kazatonov again a shot. This time goes wide. Todd Gill lays it off of Morris to center. Krushelnyski didn't see it. Kazatonov in over the line. McLean stripped to the puck, and Gill is going to ice it. And as Fedosov races after it with Semeta, it is called. And 4:03 remain in the period. A 1-1 tie.
Well, Dave Maley, who has a reputation of a lot of things, but not a stick handler, really made quite a play on a 1-on-2 as he came in the Leaf defense, and you can see how upset he is that he didn't put it in. Now, there's the fake on Rob Ramage, who looked at the puck, and Todd Gill was a little concerned about 32 there, but still he was in on the faux pas by the Leaf defense pair, and Maley nearly made it 2-1. You defensemen, you cannot look at the puck on a one-on-one situation, because a very average stick handler like Maley fooled a pretty good defenseman like Ramage when Ramage got caught gaping at the puck.
Ellen against the boards for Petit back at the net. Michel Petit flips it out. McGuire speed goes to Semeta, who shoots it into the New Jersey zone. 3:50 to go in the period. Danico around on the boards on the left wing side, and Dino Sigger gets it ahead at center for Muller. Kurt Muller with Medill. Muller into the corner. He was spun off of the puck there by Ellett, who was fortunate not to be penalized. McGuire to Fergus. Fergus in over the line. Drop pass to McGuire. Here's a shot, and it's wide of the goal. And the rebound is going to skip off of the boards and go into the crowd and out of play. You're watching Molson Leaf Hockey on the Global Television Network.
Helmets on? All right. All right, let's go.
Takes a lot to be a future star. Takes a lot of keeping up from you. But you can't beat the feeling when you do. Can't beat it. Coca-Cola Classic. Can't beat the real thing.
You do okay.
Mark Hebscher will have Mike Krushelnyski in the hot seat, I suppose, of the interview session for our first intermission. Jim Taddy will be along with a number of highlights from games going on elsewhere in the National Hockey League tonight, as the Devils and the Leafs are tied 1-1, and Paul Yzerbark has scored for Detroit to cut into Montreal's lead. Dolphus lost the puck. A bank pass there by Danico is going to go for icing. Richardson is back to touch it, and it'll be brought back into the New Jersey zone with 3:19 left to go.
Luke Richardson, who has a career high in penalty minutes at 164 and is the leader in that department for the Toronto Maple Leafs, hasn't come up this year with as many of those open ice hits as he did last year, when he really, I thought, was the best open ice body checking defenseman in the National League. Now, whether he just can't get him in his bomb sights or he's playing it very safe by staying back, I don't know what the reason is, but I'm sure the opposing forwards are happy that Luke has changed his style a little.
Fedosov goes back of the goal. Dolphus tried to strip the puck from him. Fedosov had it hit Koharski. Now here's Dolphus trying to get around the veteran Soviet defender, and it's played around on the board. Richardson keeps it in. Merwad and Zezel chopped high to the far boards, and Fedosov has it again. Pass intercepted by Merwad to Dolphus, and a shot caroms off of Kazatonov and goes up into the crowd and out of play.
Well, Vyacheslav Fedosov, of course, has been one of the all-time great Soviet defensemen. He made the All-Star team in that league 9 times. He's a master of Soviet sport, which is similar to the Hall of Fame here in North America. 3 times he was voted